My name is Melanie Königshoff. I'm at the University of Pittsburgh. I'm in the pulmonary division here in Pittsburgh. I'm also the director of the Lung Aging and Regeneration Center. And together with the university in Ohio, as well as with Rochester and CMU, we actually do have a TriState SenNet Consortium. So this is a tissue mapping center where I am one of the program directors.
I am Ana Mora. I am at Ohio State University. I am the Division of Pulmonary and also Director of Research for the Davis Heart Lung Research Institute. And also we direct with Mauricio, that is another member of the SenNet, the Lung Aging Laboratory here at Ohio State. As Melanie said, we are part of the TriState, and we are also like a copyright for this tissue mapping center.
What drew you to the field of senescence research?
Melanie and Oliver, that are part of the Pittsburgh SenNet, TriState, and Mauricio and I were really collaborators on more than 15 years ago. And really both groups had been interested in aging of the lung. Both of us, both groups, I'm going to say, work in age-related diseases. We begin with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, and also Melanie does COPD, another age-related disease. And 15 years ago was very rare to have lung included in aging. It was more about the heart, the brain, so neurodegenerative diseases, etc. So we really brought this word of aging into the field. So it was kind of natural for us to move into senescence. That is one of these hallmarks of aging. And Torren Finkel, that is the director of the Aging Institute at the University of Pittsburgh. I was a member of that institute, so it was kind of natural to bring him into a team. He already, we've been trying to convince him to work in the lung, and he's cardiology, so he brought the heart component to our team. So really, it's an interest that comes from many, many years back. Melanie, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, but the only thing I can add is really like we found each other. Yeah, again, like as Ana mentioned, you know, like our groups have long-standing relationship actually, right, with an interest in really trying to understand chronic lung diseases, and you know, their aging plays a big role, as Ana has mentioned, right? So. And we have like always been like in very close contact and been close colleagues with that. And then obviously, you know, like the lung and the heart are also very close to each other, right? So it's very interesting for us to look at lung and heart together. Again, like obviously with all the expertise around cardiology that Ana mentioned already with Torren Finkel and colleagues that we have. But also just, you know, like as something like the lung that is in constant exchange with the outer world, whereas the heart, you know, like is like actually a more like quiet organ, if you so want. So really to looking at this both together was something that we found was very interesting and will hopefully be informative specifically to when if we're looking at senescence.
Please give a brief overview of the research you and your team perform.
The very interesting thing that we do now see, which I think SenNet has a focus on, which was very exciting for us, is to look at healthy aging, right? So that means for us, it's healthy lung and healthy heart aging. So that's our biggest aim, that we try to understand how a healthy lung, you know, like a very young one and a middle-aged one as a very old one looks like, and how senescence, how can we define and actually find senescent cells in these organs. And you know, that's actually very important because you want to know the baseline and you want to understand how healthy aging is before you really go into a disease. So, and SenNet, you know, like as you probably know, I mean, really is about mapping and building an atlas. So we really want to, you know, like we're using multi-omics approaches to characterize this. So, and one of the mapping expertise actually also at Ohio, Ana can probably allude to, like with the spatial efforts that you guys are doing. But the one thing that I would like to highlight, what we do as well, is that we try to not only look into the tissue as it is, but we also try to induce senescence in tissues. And for this, we have, you know, within the consortium, models where we can ex vivo actually induce senescence. And that gives us hopefully an insight into the heterogeneity, right? So because you can imagine that every organ, every cell, right, every tissue has a little bit of a different kind of response to senescence. And by using these ex vivo models that we can have from human lungs and hearts, together with the, you know, like other tissue that we get, we can really get an idea in terms of what are the drivers and how do very specific cells react, because at the end, I think we all believe right now that we need to understand this in much better detail to also be able to really develop therapies.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree with Melanie. We complement really each others. We do similar, as Melanie says, to mapping using like the multi-omics. Particularly, we are very interested to integrate the single cell RNA-seq with the special transcriptomics using technologies like Vision, Xenium, and also now with proteomics that we are doing through collaborations with other members of the SenNet, and bring all these signatures, like Melanie was saying, specific according with the triggers, to go back, hopefully, to the lungs and try to discern those very infrequent cells that are the senescent cells, so we can map in them and determine their role, probably, hopefully, later in disease, etc.
I think, Anna, you mentioned one really important point. This is the collaborative efforts that we can have, right? I mean, obviously, TriState SenNet is different. Like some of the tissue mapping centers are huge, right? And so in our case, again, like we already collaborate with Ohio State University, Rochester, and Carnegie Mellon University. But also just like within SenNet, there's so much potential in terms of pilot projects and interaction. And I think that's, that's really something that we all very much enjoy, and that also really advances our understanding, because there's just so much complementary expertise, technology-based as well as organ-based or biology-based, which we can nicely combine.
I think that has been a big benefit of SenNet that has brought it to the community, is this possibility to communicate and collaborate and grow in capabilities, models, and to have a more comprehensive understanding of senescence in all the tissues. So I think that's a goal that has been successfully accomplished by the consortium.
What would you tell students and junior investigators who want to research senescence?
I think the whole TriState is really active to bring young investigators into the field. We have, I'm going to say more than 20 probably students, postdocs, undergraduate and graduate students really involved in these projects in the different states or institutions. And we meet every week and they participate, and they are also members of the working groups of the SenNet. We are also very active with the CUSP students. Pittsburgh and Ohio State have received last year, and this year also we're integrating them. And it really has been a force, because they are understanding that senescence is involved not only in aging, but is in pathogenesis of diseases. There are some beneficial effects of senescence. There are some pathological. There are also a translational component that I think is very exciting for some of them. So it's from basic to translational, and really teaching is all the components that we are bringing to the new generations, and they are excited.
Aging is actually a young research field, right? It's a growing research field. Like, I mean, there's no doubt about that this plays such an important role. And again, like everybody's interested in why and how we age. And, like obviously that this comes together with diseases, and we try to understand and combat these. So, I mean, I think it's an exciting time, like, yeah, for early career investigators to get into this field, and SenNet and, like, and that NIH initiative, really shows you like, that you really have a network, right? And I mean, we had people, early careers, like postdocs, graduate students that go between labs and everything. So they not only obviously learn about the research, they also get to know other people, be in other laboratories for some time. And again, I think it makes for a very rich experience. And yeah, our new CUSP students are coming soon. So we hopefully, we can also get them excited about this.
I want to just say that this also can inspire for the really physician scientists also. That is a field that we want to bring, not only basic researchers. So for example, we now have like a new T32, and they are really involved in senescence and bringing senescence into their projects. So we're trying to expand this area that probably is, right now has been the force has been more in basic research, but to bring also people from the medical field and more translational understanding of the implications in diseases related with aging.
How do you think SenNet fits into the broader senescence research community?
We are pulmonary and cardiology, right? So we're looking at lung and heart. And I always say, like, at least want to say people that, you know, like, I mean, chronic lung diseases and their involvement in aging is just something that, you know, like, has not seen so much attention, actually, really, that I think it deserves it. I mean, these are like diseases that are really the world leading causes of death. And for many of them, we really don't really have any therapeutics, right? And again, always coming back to the air we breathe every time, you know, we take it for granted, and, you know, this can change very rapidly. And probably the pandemic has shed some light and, you know, brought more attention to this. But again, like, I just think, like, I love to look at the cardiopulmonary vascular system together, and I think it's just a very exciting organ system to look at. So, and of course, you know, this is what we represent for SenNet. So I want to make a point about that as well.
I agree totally with Melanie. I think the lungs are, and the lungs and the heart are so vital for the individual, and it's more seen that lung function actually dictates is one of the main factors that dictate biological aging of the individual. So I think, like Melanie says, for many, many years, the lung wasn't, and age-related lung diseases were no study in really in deep. But it's important that is the connection with the environment. We have seen how it's important now, the environment, the climate, etc. So maybe we have to pay more attention to what we breathe, like Melanie says, and see the future. I think that would be a great point to inspiration for new generations.